The cycle theory, I've noticed over a period of time that things tend to run in cycles. They're measurable. You can see them. It's important that an organization recognize where it is on the product life cycle. You know, how many products do we have? Are they reaching a mature stage? What's the cycle in our business economy? You know, what's happening in the world around us? If you see these cycles, then you're going to be able to do a better job of managing your business. Let's pause for just a brief break, and we'll be right back.
Common Sense Management covers 35 principles on how to become a more effective leader and a better manager. It's simple, direct, and easy to learn.
The book, Common Sense Management, is going to help you become a better manager and a better leader.
In order to get your copy of Common Sense Management, write to Managing for Success, Box 957, Jenks, Oklahoma, 74037.
Pay me now or pay me later. That's another common sense approach. What I've noticed is so many times organizations want to forget the planning process, want to forget getting people involved, and especially churches and ministries. They want to go right into action. Let's get the army on the field. Let's go for it. What I've found out is that if you don't take the time to do a good job of planning, go through each step of the planning process, take each of the steps that I've covered in my strategic planning books, that what you're doing is you're rushing out, and all too often you're going to begin to make mistakes. Now, pay me now means take the time to develop the plan right now, because if you don't, later on you're going to have so many mistakes, so many false starts, so much confusion that you're going to spend all your time now trying to get the people behind the plan. You're going to spend your time trying to correct your mistakes. You're going to have to pay later. I encourage you to do a good job of planning first so that you don't have to pay a bigger price later. In the Common Sense Management book, we talk about being afraid to fail. And a good example is any of us could walk a 2x4 plank on the ground. Let's say if somebody gave us a reward for $100. Somebody said, Henry, if you can walk on this 2x4, it's right there on the ground in your backyard. If you can walk from one end to the other, I'll give you $100. Now, if that same plank was 100 feet in the air, not many of us are going to take a chance. I think we've got to recognize that part of succeeding is also failing. I'll acknowledge to you today I've failed at so many things that I've lost count. But I don't let that bother me. I just say, well, hey, there's one more thing that won't work. So don't be afraid to fail. Take some chances. Think through your options. You know, I'm not saying recklessly run across that board. I'm saying think through what you're doing. Liberty Industries in Girard, Ohio, they reached a critical point in their business. And they took a chance on a new packaging division. They were not afraid to fail, and that's one of the most successful divisions of their company today. You've got to take some chances to succeed. Another concept is what I call my defensive end theory. I was a defensive end in football, and a lot of times when you spot trouble, and that's what a defensive end has to do, is you go straight to the ball, and my coaches always told me, get rid of as much of the as many blockers as you can and try to get to the ball carrier. Too many times I see people trying to avoid trouble. They just won't meet conflict head on. Defensive end theory says if you spot a problem, you've got to get the problem out in the open, and you've got to struggle with it because it's just not going to go away. Another theory is what I call the Alamo theory, to toe the line. I was in a situation where I had direct responsibility for manufacturing. We had a plan, we had a process, but I just was not sure that some of my key people were with me. So finally I called a Saturday morning meeting, and I just said, if you're with me, step over the line. We can achieve, we can accomplish, we can do what we have to do. But if you're not behind the plan, if you're not behind me, I'll do the best I can. This was in a major company to get you transferred somewhere else. I think there comes a time where you've got to be honest with your people, and they're either going to get with you, or if they're not, then there's got to be somewhere else where they can succeed. The old lawn mowing theory. I always use this in my strategic planning and MBO seminars. What the lawn mowing theory says is that we've got a job to do. Picture your own lawn at home. What you're doing to your top management team is you're saying, now, let's all go to work on the lawn. Let's do the things that we do best. The objective is to get the job done. So just like a company has marketing, production, finance, other staff areas, everybody looks at the lawn, and everybody covers the job they've got to do. The chief executive officer, his job is to be sure that every task is covered. So think about dividing the work up among your top management team as looking at a lawn in the lawn mowing theory. As the boss, you want to be sure every blade of grass, every rock, every tree is trimmed. Then, when you see that every detail is being covered, you know that you're going to have a completed task. There are a number of other theories in the book, 35 to be exact, where I go through each step of the way and say, here is a common sense approach to solving that problem. Now, what you'll notice is that we've graphically given you some pictures. What I hope will happen, especially those of you that have not had management training, that as you go through the theories of are you always right, that the picture that goes with that will come up in front of your mind. The subway theory, that you'll see the picture of a subway. The viewing the world through the colored glasses theory. The stew in your own juice theory. The snowball theory. Each one of these theories has a picture. Get your head above the clouds. Now, what I hope will happen is as you studied the book and studied each of these theories, that as you go about your day-to-day work, as you go about working with your people, that when you run into a situation, that you'll recognize that situation for what it was, and you'll recognize that there's a common sense approach to dealing with that, and that the visualization of the picture and the theory will come back together and help you solve that problem. There is a common sense way of managing, and I think if we'll sit back and just think through how we deal with people, how we deal with situations, we can do so much better. There's no sense in all the anxiety that I see in the workplace. Let's think through these things, and I'll be right back for a powerful conclusion.
Common Sense Management covers 35 principles on how to become a more effective leader and a better manager. It's simple, direct, and easy to learn.
The book, Common Sense Management, is going to help you become a better manager and a better leader.
In order to get your copy of Common Sense Management, write to Managing for Success, Box 957, Jenks, Oklahoma, 74037.
Common sense approach to management is just not that complicated. A few basic concepts. Treat people like you want to be treated. Recognize that people are working to satisfy their higher level needs. Recognize that you're feeding a person's psyche when you talk to them about recognition, a job well done, leaving them alone so they can get a job done. All of these things are common sense approaches, agreeing on what's to be accomplished in advance. Coaching, working with a person to help them succeed, help them create a plan for their life, be interested in what they're trying to accomplish, get to know them as a person. All of these things are just basic common sense ways of how to deal with people and situations. Try to get to know everybody in your organization, people in other departments. Don't go to work every day, have coffee with the same people, talk to the same people, and never interact with other kinds of people. You need to get to know somebody so that you know them well enough that when a problem does arise, this is the first time that you've ever really talked with them. You're going to do a lot better if you've gotten to know that person, let's say over in accounting, and you're working in industrial engineering. You're going to do a lot better when you sit down in a critical problem situation if you've gotten to know them in advance, if you have an idea who they are, what their interests are, and you've got some kind of a personal relationship. A common sense approach to management. Get to know your customers. What is it that they need? How can our company serve you? You've got to read my book on strategic planning for organizations. Learn how to put a plan together. Read the book on common sense management. Get these principles in your mind so that you can deal with them. You can become and do a better job of managing if you'll learn more about the planning and managing process. Hello, my name is Henry Migliore. I'm here today to help you develop a 5-year strategic plan for your business, church, or organization. Are you struggling with the vision and purpose for your business? Are you struggling with the potential of what your business could be over the long term? Do you have a measurable target that you're aiming toward? Does everyone in your organization know exactly what you're trying to accomplish? Are you struggling with how to get people involved with the business plan, how to get them excited about the plan? Do you see people that are just not excited about what you're trying to accomplish? If you're having any of these kinds of problems, stay with us. We're going to specifically take you through the step-by-step procedure on how to put together a workable, action-oriented business plan. We're going to give you the keys to success on how to turn a business plan into a strategic management process. Stay with us. Over the past 20 years, I've had the opportunity to work with major corporations, with nonprofit organizations, small businesses, churches, and ministries. I've had the opportunity to help them develop strategic direction. I've seen disorganized situations, companies and organizations, hotels, ministries, just at the brink of failure. I've seen the methods that we're going to talk about on this program create an action plan, create direction, rally people around that plan, and then I've seen them successful over the long term. Now, the topic we're really talking about today is what we call strategic long-range planning. A strategic plan, by definition,